Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Medicom toy, the Mafex number 163 Captain Marvel from Avengers Endgame, and the number 184 Rescue Pepper Potts, also from Avengers Endgame. Because they were from the same movie, I went ahead and was like, you know what, I'm just going to review these two figures together. Big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for sending these out my way so I can review for you guys. Both of these figures are on sale right now. So the Captain Marvel figure is 25% on sale, down to $74.99, and the Rescue figure is 40% off, down to $62.99. So some pretty good deals on the holiday special for Big Bad Toy Store. In fact, just today, the comic Thor figure went down 35% to $68.24 if you're looking to pick that up. But I'll have links in the video description below to these two figures, as well as all the Marvel Mafex, so you guys could take a look. As you know, I love the MCU. I'm an MCU collector. That's what I do. So getting Mafex versions to figures that I didn't have in my collection. I have the Marvel Legends versions, of course, but getting the Mafex versions, because Mafex figures are highly articulated, much more so than Hasbro figures do. Likenesses can vary, but kind of look a little bit more realistic. While I'll say the Marvel Legends for these characters, I thought were pretty good. Earlier this year, I did get the Mark 85 battle damaged Iron Man Mafex figure from Avengers Endgame, and absolutely loved it. Like, Mafex just killed it on this. And it could be because the battle damage is kind of crazy throughout. The details are just super awesome. But that's what Mafex does. Paint apps-wise, they're really good. The articulation, the sculpt work, all that stuff is going to be really good. So I'm sure Captain Marvel and Rescue, all that same effort is going to be put into those two figures. So I'm excited to check them out. So looking at the Captain Marvel version, this is the final battle suit where she had the long hair. She had the different suit and all of that. So we have that there. She's got some power, energy effects, and things like that. Bunch of hands, which is cool. We get a look at the figure on the back of the package there. You can see the different poses, all the different accessories, and everything like that. Rescue, you can see here is a little bit of a wider box. She does have a few different accessories, but there does seem to be a lot of empty space in there. And I guess maybe that's just so they can kind of space out some of these things. Like, this one's pretty wide. I don't think there was enough space to just put it behind the figure. But again, it does look like a lot of empty space, in comparison to like what Captain Marvel comes with, right? A bunch of different hands, a bunch of energy effect pieces and things like that. Whereas Rescue has that backpack piece that kind of opens up. And then we get a couple of additional head sculpts there. But with that, let's go ahead and open these up and let's take a look at Captain Marvel and Rescue. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button now. Help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. As you know, we've got a couple of weeks left of 2024, so we're getting really close. Just under 250 subscribers to go. If you're new here to the channel, I do action figure reviews almost daily for the most part, but I do a bunch of action figure reviews, not just Marvel, but primarily Marvel, but all the time. So if you guys want to stick around and check out all my other figure reviews, hopefully I've earned your subscription, but make sure hit that subscribe button now. Okay, so here we have the Rescue figure and the Captain Marvel figure out of the package. Captain Marvel comes with a bunch of accessories, which is really cool. The Marvel Legends really cheaped out on their version, as it was just a repaint of the Captain Marvel figure from the Captain Marvel movie with a new head sculpt. This one is pretty good. We get a lot of really good articulation and some crazy energy binary effect pieces that goes throughout. Like, you can put them on the legs, you can put them on the arms, you get these different hand blaster effect pieces that are really, really cool. So the Captain Marvel figure is definitely cool. The Rescue figure, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm pretty underwhelmed. In terms of a Mafex figure, when you think Mafex, you think highly articulated, can move around and do a bunch of stuff. I feel like this Rescue figure is a little bit limited. Can it move better than the Marvel Legends? Absolutely. But I am a little underwhelmed. There's a lot of pieces and things that goes with it, and we'll kind of talk about it. Like, you have this back piece here, which, like in the movie, it kind of floated behind her, and you can get this blast effect. And then I think if you turn this way and then you put this big old blast effect, you can have that blast effect piece. So there's some really cool stuff going for this figure. It's just the figure itself, again, a little underwhelming. Accessories do make up for it a little bit, but it's still, in my opinion, probably not the greatest that Mafex can represent in terms of action figures. So we're actually going to take a look at Rescue first, get her out of the way, and then we'll look at Captain Marvel, as I do think that is the better figure here. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Rescue figure, and again, the figure looks great. It looks fantastic. I have no complaints there. It's just in the execution of the figure. Like, when you, again, Mafex, I'm thinking highly articulated figure. It can move in all the right spots. The legs are pretty limited on this thing, which is kind of crazy. But looking at it color-wise, it looks really good. We kind of get that gold in there with a little bit of the gunmetal, and then that purplish blue indigo, what color would you call it? Violet color. Looks really good. Sculpt-wise, it looks really good. I have no complaints there. All looks really good, as you can see. Rescue number 49. Good stuff. Good stuff going on. We get these two different like pieces that go over here that kind of have that back plate over the back of the hand. They come off pretty easily, so that's another little irritating thing. But we get the regular one, as you can see, that's close to the hand, and then you get this other one that's bowed out a little bit, so you can get these hands to kind of go out as if she's, you know, using her blaster, that sort of thing. The accessories that she comes with, so we have this set of hands here. It's got these pegs on there, as you can see there, so you can put these blast effect pieces in there. And that's a really cool concept. I really like that a lot. So we get fists, we get the hands that have those pegs in there, both left and right. We get these open hands here, and then we kind of get some relaxed hands here. So those are the hands that we got. We get the two blast effect pieces, so we can put them on the left and the right hands there. You get these other blast effect pieces, and I believe these are going to go at the bottom of the feet for flight mode, because I don't know where else these would actually port into. And they're a little poking, as you can see. They do go onto the bottom of the feet quite nicely. It comes with two, but I seem to have misplaced one at the moment. I cannot find the other one. So it does come with two, so you can get her into a flight pose. Every Mafex figure comes with a flight stand. Where the hell did I put that? I don't know where it is. It's completely missing. But it does, in fact, come with two. I just misplaced somewhere, so you can do that. So that's pretty cool. We get this large blast effect piece here, and that's because this is going to connect to this back piece here that floats around and kind of uses as a blast effect. Sculpt is really nice. Paintwork is really nice in there, so that is really cool. We get the additional backpack piece that's all opened up, as you can see there. So you got the standard backpack piece there, and then it opens up there. It removes very easily, as you can see there. And then you can put this one on here, and then you could just see, like, in flight mode, you know, she could have that opened up. There's this other piece that actually comes on it already, but then you want to remove it if you're not using the drone piece. So this will just port into the back like so. And then this drone piece, what you would do is you would then... Hold on, let me turn this, turn that. You can attach this... Uh-oh. Did I just break that off? I don't know if that's supposed to come off. I feel like this little piece that I just broke off right there is supposed to stay there. Yikes. I think I broke that. That's not good. You guys, be careful. Be careful with this thing, because clearly... Oh, no, that's gone. I lost that. So that drone piece goes on the back there, as you can see, which is cool. So it gives it that floating look if you have the head in certain places, and you can kind of move that around. It's articulated. So that is really cool. And then if you want, you could use the flight stand. So you can actually, if you don't want the drone on top of the backpack piece, if you wanted this just floating on its own, you could do that as well. And then again, if you turn this a certain way, you have a peg hole there, so you could use this blast effect in there, and boom, you know, it's you know, shooting out, which is really cool. And we get a couple of different head sculpts on there, so I'm going to take this backpack piece off, because, you know, I've already broken it, so that's not good. And let's swap out the head. So we get the full helmeted head sculpt there, and then we get new neck pieces. I'm not sure why each one comes with a new neck piece. It's a really long neck, and also, in my opinion, I think they made the neck just way too long on this figure. So we get one where the mask faceplate is open, and we have the Gwyneth Paltrow Pepper Potts head sculpt in there, and that is pretty good. So at one point, you know, her face mask just opens up, and you see her face, and that looks really good. Again, super really long neck there, but that does look pretty good. Let me zoom in so you can see the best view there. That looks good. And then we get a whole other... So the heads could pop off. I don't know why we get completely new necks. See, that forearm piece comes off very easily. But here we have a fully unmasked head sculpt for Gwyneth Paltrow, Pepper Potts. And as you can see, the neck is a lot shorter, so that looks a lot better. And you know what? This is a pretty darn good likeness to Pepper Potts, in my opinion. I could see Gwyneth Paltrow in it. So I think Mafex did a really good job. You know, I think they've been spotty, hit or miss on some of their actor likenesses. But I think this one, they did a good job. You guys let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. But now let's go ahead and move on into Captain Marvel. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Captain Marvel. I wanted to keep on like these energy effects as she goes kind of into her binary mode there. There's a bunch of different pieces. Like, it's kind of crazy how many different pieces there are. So there's these pieces here that I assume go on kind of the upper arm, the bicep area. And then you have these larger pieces here, which I assume would wrap around the thigh. I did at one time have these wrapped around the arm, so you could do that as well. These ones you can kind of just open it up and then, you know, slip over. Some of these you can, you know, if you pop the hand off, you can just kind of slide it up the arm as well. But we have, you know, those pieces, and then we also have 4 other pieces. So it's crazy how many of these energy pieces that we have. So they're just kind of all flames, and you can see they just kind of all wrap around, and you can put them around her arms as you kind of want, which is cool. The other thing I really like is these separate hands. So the full binary mode, you know, as she's punching and fighting and stuff, you have this kind of energy effect that's just surrounded her hands there. So we have those, which are really cool. As you can see, you can pop them off. There's like a hand piece in there, so you can actually port it onto the wrist, which is really cool. I like that they did it that way. And the other really cool thing, because she can also just kind of blast with her energy, you have these 2 pieces here that are just full on blast. And the same thing there, you have the hand piece that's in there, so you could just port these right onto the wrist there, and she can just kind of blast there, which is really, really cool. They are heavy though, so you know, that's something to keep in mind. Like, you know, depending on where you get it and how you have the arm and stuff, it can kind of weigh down. But that's awesome that we get that. And of course, there are 2 pieces, so you could do a right and a left there. So those are the energy effect pieces. Now, in terms of hands, she's got a bunch. She's got fists out of the package. And then here we just kind of get these straight open hands there. We get these relaxed, wide open hands there as well. And then we get the regular relaxed hands there. And then we have these hands that are kind of grip hands, as you can see there. Then we get the I don't know I don't know what this is called, but like the, you know, gesturing hands, like the aloha, right? Surfs up hands. We get a left and a right there. So those are the accessories that she comes with. She also has 2 different head sculpts, so we can have those. So we got here is kind of more the angry face look for Captain Marvel, Brie Larson there. And then we get more of a smiling one. I don't know that she's not really full on smiling, but she's definitely not like angry look. And I think that does look like Brie Larson from Avengers Endgame. I think that's a pretty good look, pretty good likeness there. I can see it. I wouldn't say that it's perfect or anything like that, but I think it's definitely better than what Marvel Legends gave us. I'll take a look. I'm going to do a comparison with the Marvel Legends Rescue and the Marvel Legends Captain Marvel towards the end of this video, so we can kind of see that there. But I want to show you guys the rest of this figure, because the figure looks really good. We get this nice like metallic red and metallic blue throughout, which is really good. And all these lines and everything like that, that's all sculpted on there, so we get a lot of good sculpted detail kind of throughout. One thing though that I'm not a big fan of, and I hated this on the Spider-Man Far From Home upgraded suit, but when they did it for No Way Home, they fixed it. Notice the torso is very small compared to the upper torso, which allows some good movement, you know, on that upper torso. It just doesn't look right. That mid torso section is just too thin, and just doesn't look quite right. So that's, you know, one thing that I'm not the biggest fan of. And then you have this big sash piece here, and it's just kind of big and clunky. So if you have like the energy effects on there, it kind of pushes up and kind of gets out of the way. I wish this would have been a little bit softer, maybe, because then this could kind of bow out a little bit. When you want to get the posed around in certain ways, it kind of rides up and it just looks a little funky. But it's not the end of the world. I'm just being real nitpicky on that. The gold throughout looks really good. So you could see that there. So we got some good stuff going on for sure. Definitely the better figure out of the 2, in my opinion. So now let's go ahead and see the articulation of both these figures. Okay, so articulation on Captain Marvel. She can look up. Only that much there. I guess it's a fair amount, not too crazy. She can look down that much there. You can full rotation in that head, and then you can get some pivot going on in that neck. Arm you can get to go straight on out like so. You can do a full rotation in there. You have a little bit of a butterfly joint that allows to go back somewhat, and then you can get some crossbody, as you can see there, which is good. You have an upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed elbow gives you that much bend there. Wrists are on a ball peg, so you could swivel and hinge any way you need, which is good. We got the diaphragm cut on there, so just the diaphragm cut, she could tilt her left that much, but with the ball joint waist, see what I mean by clunkiness of this sash, like that, like, I guess, I mean, she probably wouldn't lean that much, but she can lean to her left that much there. She can lean to her right that much there, so that is a good amount. She can go back that far there, and then she can come forward that far there. And again, I just don't like how it gets so thin right in here. She's got wide hips, and then the torso piece just gets too narrow. It looks really weird. You get a swivel at the waist and a swivel at that diaphragm as well. We have drop down hips, so you can bring the hips down a little bit, not too much compared to what we typically see with Mafex figures. You can pop these leg pieces off, and then they just pop right back on. Wait, did it pop back on? Yeah, it did. So this one's actually a little disappointing as well. So I keep pulling these legs off. Usually we can get like good splits out of Mafex figures, but these two like don't want to do it. they don't like. You're only going to get the legs to go out that far apart. That's pretty crazy for a Mafex figure. Kick forward really far. As you can see, it just kind of positioning in there is really strange. You get some swivel at that thigh. You get a double jointed knee, like so. You can hinge the foot down only a little bit, hinge up a little bit. There is ankle pivot in there, and then you have toe articulation. So it's disappointing with the movement in the legs, and it's going to be the same thing for Rescue. The legs just don't really give you a whole lot of range of movement. So Rescue here, looking up, she can look all the way up, which is great. So if you get her into flight poses, she can look up, which is good. She can look down that much there. You get some crazy pivot going on with that super long neck, which is insane. And then you get a swivel at that head sculpt as well. The arm you can get to go straight on out. That shoulder pad will kind of hinge around as needed. And it does come off, as you can see there. Pop that back on there. You can do a full rotation in that arm as well. There is a little bit of a butterfly joint. It doesn't go back a whole lot, and then it comes forward a little bit, so you can't really get any crossbody in there, unfortunately. You have an upper bicep swivel in there. You get a double jointed elbow, gives you that much bend there, like so. Wrists are on a ball peg, so you can hinge them and swivel them around as you need. Again, these forearm pieces come off very easily, so just a heads up on that. As you can see, I just pulled one off and did not mean to do that. We got the diaphragm and the ball joint waist there. So the diaphragm, she can tilt to her left that much there. She can tilt to her right that much there. The ball joint at the waist doesn't really allow for any any side-to-side motion, because as you can see, the way they did the hip, they did a deep V there, so you're not going to be able to really tilt. But she can lean back a little bit, so you can go back that far and then come forward. She can a little bit with that deep V, though it does hinder it. So she can come forward that much. She is in a metal suit, so how much movement she would really have is, you know, got to keep that in mind. You get some swivel at the diaphragm or at the ball joint waist there. The drop down hips, you can drop down a little bit. It's a very odd design. Like, even if you look at the piece that holds that leg in there, it's very odd. You get some decent swivel in there, which is really good, but the legs just don't really go that far apart, so they go out that like that. So, you know, it's another one where it's disappointing. She can kick forward pretty far, which is good, and then the leg goes back too far, I would say, so that's kind of crazy there. Double jointed knee gives you that much bend there at the knee. Typically we would see a leg be able to kick up a little bit more than that. Foot hinges down a little bit, hinges up a little bit. You do get some ankle pivot in there, and you have toe articulation there. So is it better than the Marvel Legends in terms of articulation? Yes. But from a Mafex standpoint, I do think it is a little disappointing. And then Captain Marvel, it's disappointing in the legs, you know, being so limited, you know, getting them to kind of go far apart. Everything else on Captain Marvel works out pretty good, but, you know, the hips and the legs are disappointing on both of these. Okay, so for a side-by-side comparison, here we are adding in the Iron Man Mark 85, the battle damage. So these are all Mafex figures, and I think these scale really well together, as they should, right? Like, so Mafex, you know, they actually put attention into scale and make sure that figures from a height perspective, for the most part, right? Like there's probably going to be some one-offs, like the comic Thor, I know is a little bit too small, too short, or the comic Venom. Yeah, he doesn't need to be huge, but he should be somewhat taller than Spider-Man. I don't know that he is, right? But here, I think these three really scale well together in terms of their heights, and they just look really good. Okay, so from here, the comparison with the Marvel Legends and the Mafex, as you can see, Mafex is going to win it because the color-wise, it just looks better. I had a lot of paint flaws on this one, and it was bound to happen because it was a flawed figure to begin with, because it wasn't new. They just repainted a Captain Marvel figure. You know, so there's all these sculpted lines and stuff for her old suit from her own movie, and they just painted over them just to kind of make it look. So it wasn't very good to begin with. Brie Larson likeness is better on the Mafex. The blue looks better, the red looks better, the gold looks better. It's just an all-around better figure than the Marvel Legends. And when it's so much higher than the cost of the Marvel Legends, it should be, and that is the case here. So, you know, no surprises. It's crazy to think that we had two Marvel Legends releases for Rescue. This one with the unmasked head sculpt actually came in the 2-pack that had this Captain Marvel. I guess maybe there's another subconscious thing of why I put the two figures to do in a review together. So it's just interesting. The Marvel Legends Rescue figures are not bad. They're not bad at all. The Mafex is not a bad figure either. The Mafex will definitely move better, and I would say the color just looks more vibrant, is just brighter, looks a little bit more metallic. So I kind of like that. That's not to say that the Marvel Legends one is a bad figure, because it's not. The Gwyneth Paltrow likeness is way better on the Mafex, though. That is for damn sure, because that doesn't really look like Gwyneth Paltrow all that much. So much better on the Mafex. So this one's just going to be on kind of what your preference is. Scale-wise, you can see she is a little bit shorter than Marvel Legends, which tends to be the case, whereas Mafex will be a little bit smaller than Marvel Legends counterparts. Some of the newer comic figures seem to be getting a little bit taller and taller, like the Captain America and the Daredevil, but Mafex always used to be, you know, smaller than the Marvel Legends figures. So for here, I don't want to say which one's going to win or not. It's just going to depend on what you're looking to do. If you just need one to kind of stand there in your collection, and if it's primarily Marvel Legends is definitely the way to go. But if you're looking for a super articulated rescue figure, the Mafex is going to be the more articulated of the bunch. Even with the flaws in the legs, still a lot more articulation than the Marvel Legends. Okay, so that's my review of the Mafex Captain Marvel and the Mafex Rescue, both from Avengers Endgame. They are both in stock right now at Big Bad Toy Store and are both on sale now. So if you're looking to pick up the Captain Marvel figure, you can actually get her on sale right now for $74.99. That's a 25% savings. And then Rescue is actually on sale for $62.99, which is a 40% off savings. So that is going to be their holiday pricing. I don't know if after Christmas 2024, if those prices are going to go up. Links in the video description below if you're looking to pick up either of these figures, or if you're looking to pick up maybe that Iron Man Mark 85 or any other Marvel Mafex figure. I'll have links in the video description below. So make sure, check out Big Bad Toy Store for all your action figure collecting needs. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm getting so close to the 50,000 subscriber mark, and we're running out of time. I set the goal to hit that before the end of 2024. We're getting close to the end of 2024. So hit that subscribe button now, and as always, thank you for watching.